The recent arrival of 200 US troops at the new military base in Darwin has renewed calls from Australia's anti-war movement to end Australia's close military cooperation with the US and increased military expenditure. Opponents to the base say that it will not bring peace, but rather will increase the chance of hostilities towards Australia, both in the region and globally.
Well, Australia is part of a military alliance with effectively unchallengeable technological superiority. What that means is that anybody who wants to take issue with it is not going to want to go, as it were, toe-to-toe in the conflict arena. They are likely to want to have recourse to asymmetric warfare. They are likely to want to seek out soft and vulnerable targets. And having this US military base with 2,500 Marines on our soil effectively hangs out a notice to all and sundry saying Australia is now a legitimate target. Can't possibly make us more secure, but it could potentially make us less secure.
The military base in Darwin was announced by US President Barack Obama during his visit to Australia in November, and by the end of 2017 it is expected that there will be up to 2,500 Marines at the Darwin base. Whilst two-thirds of all US Marines are based in the Pacific, Australian Defence Minister Stephen Smith rejected the analysis that the closer military ties between Australia and the United States is in response to the growing military assertiveness of China.
In terms of security, I can't see any reason why there would be a need for that base. The base really is about the US extending its military presence throughout the region. And also, it's a great contest between China and the US, and Australia is simply caught in the middle.
The Australian Anti-Bases campaign, along with other anti-war groups, launched a new network to resist the US military build-up in the Pacific and the stationing of US Marines in Australia, which they say threatens to bring war to their doorstep.
Well, we're calling ourselves Keep War From Our Door, Wave of Hope. And the wave image and the wave idea is that the Pacific and its waters actually unites the people of the region. That's what we have in common. And so we are trying to reach out to our equivalents in other countries around our part of the world in order to raise our voices for an alternative to this military build-up.
The high military expenditure comes at the cost of public services and infrastructure. In the case of recent natural disasters, the government did not consider cutting any of its exorbitant military budget, but rather cut environmental, education and housing programs in order to pay for the reconstruction effort after Cyclone Yassi and the devastating floods in Queensland, which is costing $5 billion. According to reports commissioned by the Anti-Bases campaign, at least 85% of Australians do not want to see more of their tax money being spent on the military. Despite this, Australia is one of the top military spenders per capita in the world, with an annual spend of $36 billion, an amount that is expected to rise by 4 to 5% each year for the next 20 years. Rihab Sharida, Press TV, Sydney.